I joined the project in June, and it started from the workshops that we had in Riga. I already had quite a lot of laboratory experimentation practice, plus I was also taking art in high school, so data collection and analysis wasn't really difficult until the very last part. During the last round of our workshop, we had to come up with common groups, and because of different perceptions, it was sometimes hard to put a specific picture into a topic because it would belong to a few of them. Plus, there were a lot of pictures, like 50 per person, and you had to analyze all of them, you had to sort all of them, which is pretty difficult. But I think we managed well. In most of the cases, we had at least 3 to 4 people that shared the same topic. It was also interesting to see how some people would perceive photos by just visual concept, seeing the problem, whereas others would also talk about feelings and how it makes them feel. At this point, previous life experiences are a decisive factor for how you can perceive such things. Because even if the picture is the same, you still see it differently. The most common example is a ramp with a really high incline, which is impossible to use. That is like the most common example of bad infrastructure, which is present in every single part of town where I've been to. Yeah, I think around 20% of my pictures were about that, because some people really don't care. Let's say they were given a plan, what they should do, they did it, but they never tested it. And even if they did, they don't look after the infrastructure that they created. It's the same as, you know, making a road and that not fixing it for 10 years. Imagine what would be left of it. Only holes and holes. On the other hand, there were also examples of good ramps. Well, for example, where you would have some creative design or some innovations that would make moving around more easy, more accessible. Other part of the photos could be some bad terrain, which invokes some mental struggle, because you have to think twice whether you really want to get through that passage, because it will be difficult, it will be uncomfortable, it will be really unpleasant. Let's say in today's world, the information field, information bubble that you're in completely filters the information that you receive, and the majority of people don't even understand how bad the situation may be. They think that, let's say, there is a ramp, well, that's fine, but they never actually used it. They don't know, they don't get that feeling of frustration because some parts of our infrastructure is just useless at this point. Accessibility in itself is a difficult topic to discuss, but I think it would require both sides, to be honest, because at some point there should be some official registration or like a law of how things should be done, but it would also be nice that people could make their place more accessible out of their own will, because some people do, and it's good. At this point, people would have to be educated on how it feels to be a person with special needs, because people just can't fathom unless they try it themselves. A few examples from life of ordinary person with special needs could do the trick, maybe. But yeah, in my opinion, it ultimately depends on social responsibility. I actually have a friend with even worse conditions, and we've been discussing this topic with him, and he said that he doesn't need no respect. He only needs some understanding, and that's it. I understand what other participants feel, like in a similar way, so it was easier for me to understand them. Whereas, let's say, a healthy person does not understand how it is to not being able to access things as easily as they can. I would say that witnessing all that we had to witness during this project leaves some bit of frustration, but ultimately I am happy to meet people like me because they do understand me, they understand my struggles. I can not compare but correlate with them at some point. Like helping to change the world is a good intention.